Welcome to the Microsoft Garden at Cannes. How's everybody feeling? Good? Yeah. So, hi, my name is Widlin Pierreville. I am a writer and performer and comedian. And hopefully we all agree on that in the end. And I'm also a creator online, which is where I might be familiar to some of you. I have a community that I am very enthusiastic about, and hopefully they're just as enthusiastic about me. And to speak more on community and the power of community, I have a panel here that needs no introduction, but we're going to do the introduction anyway. Can we make a little noise? Fantastic. So right next to me, we have a food critic second, a family man first. We have a creator who turned honest restaurant reviews into an entire movement, online and offline. We have Keith Lee.
What's up, everybody?
Hey. We have fashion's most darling tastemaker and every it girl's favorite. A proud HBCU grad, fresh off the cover of Rolling Stone Africa, we have Alandria Carthen. Big. And then we have, he'll make you laugh, he'll make you think, he'll make you dance. A comedian, a futurist, a creative technologist who uses AI's technology and used it most recently to crash into one of hip-hop's brightest moments in the last decade. We have King Wallonius, who I'll also add is right now building one of the largest black and brown AI communities in the world. Can we make some noise for the panelists? Awesome, awesome. So to begin, first question here. I'm gonna tell a little story. Is that okay? Cool. I was in California a couple of weeks ago, and I stopped at like a small restaurant, family restaurant, a taco place, and I started taking videos, maybe a little video of me, a little video of the birria, a little video of something, and suddenly there was a free horchata refill. And if you're familiar with horchata, the free refills is rare. And suddenly there was like a chocolate cake and churros and maybe an extra birria on the side. And I thought, man, they must think I'm Keith Lee. Oh my gosh. And I'm not gonna correct them. This is great. And so I'm realizing, Keith, oftentimes you don't show up, you don't, invite your presence into the process of you reviewing until the work of it is already done. It takes a lot of integrity to hold on to the sanctity of that process.
Thank you.
So I'm wondering, and this is a question that I'll extend to everyone, because Alandria, from day one, you've made it very clear who you are. Your HBCU roots, your Alabama roots, your values, and you've even extended some of those parts of your identity that we love so much into the education advocacy work that you were just doing in Nigeria. Wallonius, you using a technology-forward approach to your creativity, I'm really wondering, what does it cost to anchor yourself when it feels like everything is pulling you in a different direction, and how do you protect that integrity? How do you protect that integrity when your presence alone is already changing the room and how people interact with you?
I think it's all about knowing how you got that support in the first place. I know with my support system, which is growing every single day, it comes from me being authentic. It comes from me being human and humanizing all parts of my story and not just only sharing the glitz and glam of my story. I share the ugly side too. None of our lives is all glitz and glam. None of our lives. I share my story about how I got myself through college, like the financial steps that I had to do to do that. I share parts of my story even now with my career, moments that I'm scared to where I don't know what's next. And I'm not afraid to admit that. But it's like, I don't think I would have the support system that I have if I only shared the good. So I think just remembering who I was and how I got the support system in the first place, regardless of how big my spotlight gets, my story, my message is going to remain the same. My brand is going to remain the same, and I'm going to remain the same. Regardless of how big the bank account get, regardless of how big that spotlight get, I'm going to always be personable. I'm going to always know how to, interact with my community and my supporters, and make sure I'm putting out my best work, for sure.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
My turn. What's up, everybody? First, I want to say I appreciate every last one of y'all. Y'all can be anywhere. For y'all to be here means the world to me, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I forgot the question.
I got you.
But I think it's something around how do I keep my integrity, right?
Yeah, how do you keep your integrity?
So for me, I myself, when the cameras turn off, when the cameras are on, I don't put on a facade, I don't put on a character, and it's a lot easier to live that way when you are who you say you are. I got my beautiful wife sitting in the front row. That's my dog. She's with me at every step of the way, and keeping her with me and keeping my family with me and keeping the people who mean the most to me. We got our 3 babies here. I got a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a newborn. So keeping those near and dear to me is what makes me remain who I am. And it's a blessing to be able to be in a position, but as long as I can travel the world with my family and eat food, I'm good.
Beautiful. Wilonius.
What's up, y'all? First of all, appreciate y'all being out here. I saw a lot of y'all at the club last night, throwing it back. All that scamming, and yeah, so y'all was out there. I seen it. But I say grounded, man. To be honest, just by believing in God and having faith in God. So it allows me to realize like what I do. I don't know if they mentioned I made the song BBL Drizzy. That's like my big claim to fame. But I realize this is like bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? And it allows me to not get to like my ego stays in check because I realize like all the gifts that I have, all the things that I'm doing is in service of God. You know what I'm saying? So it allows me to like really just like pour into people because you know this whole mission is bigger than me.
Thank you. Brilliant. I want to move on to a question just for you, Keith. Recently, you know, it's been so exciting to see all of the work that you've been doing with the Family Day Festival.
Thank you.
Yes, I mean, this is a festival, y'all. Hundreds of vendors, small business owners, small restaurant owners showing up, having their vendor fees waived, which is a choice that you and your team made.
Absolutely.
You know, to center, again, that integrity that we were just talking about and the mission that you're on. 20,000 people in attendance, you know, and that's, make some noise, 20,000, yeah. And that's bigger than, you know, the numbers on the screen and the metrics and the analytics. That's a real life impact that you're getting people, you know, in the room and outside. So when you see that your community is willing to follow, is willing to show up, is willing to go to the places you go, what does that responsibility feel like for you? And I guess, like, where are you feeling most excited to lead people to in the future?
At the core, I always remain. The main thing stays the main thing. So at the end of the day, I'm just eating food. And I'm blessed enough to be in a position to where, like you said, 20,000 people will show up for a first-year festival, which is almost unheard of. Most first-year festivals start in parking lots. And the fact that we started in a place like New Orleans that's super hard to sell tickets, they got some of the best festivals in the world. They got Mardi Gras, they got Jazz Fest, which are absolutely free for admission. So to sell any tickets is blasphemy. But again, it's just a testament to the work that we put in. It was a year straight of nonstop planning. I think a lot of people, I thought it was just like, hey, we about to be in a certain location at this certain time, show up. And it wasn't that at all. But I'm super excited. This year, we are planning to go to Chicago. And I think Chicago is going to be amazing. And we are going to do a convention in the middle of the year, probably around holiday time, to really focus on the educational part of what it is to be a part of a festival from a vendor's perspective. Because like you said, a lot of the businesses that are there are small businesses that have never done a festival before. So really just setting up the education and making sure that we set everybody up for success.
Brilliant. I understand a little bit about, you know, having people come to the places where you are. I know so many people here at Canon in this room came because I would be here. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. The meet and greet is canceled. I won't be signing anything. Thank you so much. And I actually want to take that into a thought for you, Wilonius, you know, because I have an arts background, right? Performance and music. Yep. And I think it's so inspiring, you know, the ways that music and comedy, they have a unique capacity to reach people. They're so much more rapid and infectious than maybe other types of influence that people have because it's so shareable, it gets into your body. When I was studying art, I mean, there are songs that I remember that I'm like, this song changed my life. If I could go back to the first time I heard it, you know, it plays back in my head. And so for you, I think when you're creating, how do you think about the power of music and comedy to reach people faster and more effectively than those other types of influences that creators might have?
Yeah, I mean, I think people just like to laugh, you know what I'm saying? We want to dance, so, you know, being able to, I mean, just music in general is just such a powerful medium, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
it really does something to our core. So, you know, I think when I'm making songs, I'm really just thinking about making people feel good, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, even you think about like BBL Drizzy, a lot of people think it was a diss to Drake. It wasn't a diss to Drake, it was a celebration of the BBL. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest, I'm from Miami, so we love BBLs. But you know, it's always like making music, doing everything with like good intentions, right? Because I think when you do that, you get that back. You know what I'm saying? You put out bad, you get bad back. So you try to just make sounds or make things that are gonna make people feel good and like bring people together, even if it's to destroy Drake. But he's back. He's back.
He's back. Outside back to what it was. And a question for you, Landria. You know, sometimes I like to think of, and this might sound kind of away, but for my own community, sometimes I think of it as a like a renewable energy source. You know, there are so many people, and not even to like galvanize around myself, but there are so many people who are pouring energy into something that I can choose to highlight, right? And so I think you have your angels, right? This is a wide, massive community of people who are ready to mobilize around you and around the causes that you champion on a moment's notice. And so I'm curious how you think about channeling and harnessing and focusing that energy on the things that are the most important to you and keep it there. Yeah.
The love and support that I get, I am so grateful for, and I don't take it lightly. Like, I am so appreciative. The amount of time and hours spent online for people just like, even if they're just pushing a hashtag, resharing something, commenting, liking, you know, even sometimes even open your purse to just support what I'm pushing out.
Right.
I'm so grateful. So I want to make sure when it comes to my energy, I'm pouring back into you, whether that's, you know, pushing higher education, showing the importance of HBCUs, going across borders, going to Nigeria and showing up in those schools and asking those kids, what can I do to help you better yourself? What do you need? You know, and they're saying, like, we need school boards. We want a soccer program. And I am going to do my best to try to give that to them.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure, as people are putting their energy into me, I'm putting my energy back into those people as well. So that's why I make sure, like, when it comes to any controversies and things like that, I don't even try to put my energy towards that. I'd rather put my energy towards something that's actually going to have value, you know? Reinstoring, like, you know, hope into my people that don't feel seen. That little girl in the back of the classroom that doesn't feel seen, feel like her dreams is too big because of the city that she's from. I'm doing it for all the small town girls, all my chocolate girls out there that need that confidence boost. I'm doing it for us, you know what I mean? Even the women that don't look like me, that don't really have a voice in this world, I'm doing it for you too. And I'm so happy that so many women from around the world can see themselves in me for different reasons, even if we don't look alike. I'm doing it for all of us, and I'm opening this door for all of us. I want us all to be that shoulder to cry on. I want us all to come together and champion each other, and instead of being in competition, come together to amplify our voices. The power of collaboration is so slept on. Continue to collaborate. You know, go out there and go after your dreams. So I'm just doing it for all of us, for sure.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you. I think that energy, exactly, like taking it and receiving it and pouring it back. I'd love to give Willonius or Keith. Do you have any?
Yeah. How are you feeling? Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. I wanted to open up that question to you as well. Yeah, about you know, channeling the energy, focusing it on the things that are most important to you.
So for me, like I said, my family, my life is exactly what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
So everything goes into what I do on a day-to-day basis. So with the Family Day Festival, it was very important to me, like she just said, that we champion each other and that we really bring Black and brown communities together, because there's not a lot of spaces for us to have fun. There's not a lot of spaces where you can see a bunch of Black and brown kids running around playing on playscapes and obstacle courses nowadays, listening to music. We had Kirk Franklin, we had Gracie's Corner, we had Disney there. We had so many different aspects of what family used to look like for us, old school 90s reunion, and I'm really just excited to continue to bring that and be a part of what that journey looks like.
Nice, beautiful. This is my last question. Can we get a little energy for the last question? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. This one is it's maybe a little imaginative. I'm gonna close my eyes. You know, when I think about myself as a young person, finding my passion and my voice in the arts, I think about the first time I like took a field trip or something in the second grade. We went to go see a play or the Nutcracker or whatever, and I'm all the way in the back in the balcony or the mezzanine, and I'm in the dark, but there's someone on stage who comes out and gets all this light shed on them, and maybe they're using their voice, probably unamplified, pushing it back, and it's reaching me and finding me like a child. That year, second grade, we did a play in school called Florida Alive. I played a pelican, and I remember channeling that to find my own voice, right? To make my own voice big, like I heard these people do on the stage. And so, you know, in this imagination exercise, I'm curious, how do you think, or who do you think of when you imagine your voice reaching someone all the way in the back, sitting in the dark, maybe watching you? Who are you hoping that your impact is reaching that maybe isn't being seen right now?
For me, it would be the kid who knows for a fact that he's gonna be somebody, and his environment doesn't reflect that.
Yep.
I was born and raised in Detroit. I was a kid who was very bad in school. I got kicked out of 3 different schools growing up, and I didn't have a path that made sense. Like, I didn't go to college right out of school. I turned into a professional fighter at the age of 18. We moved from Detroit to Vegas in a Nissan Altima. Everybody packed one bag in the middle of my senior year. So I didn't graduate when I didn't walk the stage. I didn't have the typical path of what it looks like to be here. So whoever is listening, I think God makes no mistakes, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I have something on my leg that I hold near and dear to me. If there's no enemy on the inside, the enemy outside can do no harm. As long as you believe exactly what you think is gonna happen, it's absolutely gonna happen.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you. Alandria.
And real quick, I just want to say shout out to Microsoft for having us here. This is
Yes,
amazing.
absolutely.
To see
Thank you,
this many
Microsoft.
people show up and listen to us talk about anything. Again, I'm honored. Shout out to Microsoft.
Shout out. Thank you all so much. Alandria, I'm asking you the same. You know, who are you hoping to reach back there, and how are you thinking of inviting them into, you know, we're here to talk about community. How are you hoping your voice reaches that person?
I'm doing this for the kid that feels unseen. I'm doing this for the kid that's from a small town that feel like their dreams is a little too big. Because I was once that kid, me growing up wanting to be this model or somebody, but it felt, that dream felt so far-fetched because of my surroundings, but I didn't let that define me. I'm doing this for the kid that has what it takes to be great, but too scared to take that leap. For a long time, I kept putting my dreams off because I was too scared. I was always playing it safe. And the moment I decided to take that leap, I ended up on this stage. I ended up having all of this visibility and the spotlight. And I wanted to make sure once I got there, I used it correctly. I was harnessing and putting that energy into places that actually showed value into my community. So I'm doing that for the kid that's too scared to take that leap. Take a leap. Do it scared. I did. And it's continuously working out for me. And it continuously can work out for you as well. So I hope my voice reaches that person.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you so much. And yes, thank you. And I do want to highlight really quick your Rolling Stones profile, something that you touched on just now. You spoke about visibility as a responsibility, and I thought that was so beautiful.
Right.
So thank you so much for sharing that and uplifting
Sure.
that. Willonius, I'll hand it to you last. How are you thinking about reaching someone all the way through the dark?
Yeah, I really don't care what y'all got going on. I'm doing this for me. So, no, I'm just talking. I'm sorry. Nah, you know what, man? I really do it for the people that are like overlooked, you know what I'm saying, and like overqualified. That's why I love, you know, the Knicks just won the championship. I think a lot of people, shout out to the Knicks. I'm a lifelong, diehard bandwagon Knicks fan. So, but I think a lot of people resonated with Jalen Brunson because a lot of people feel that way, right? Like they're overqualified and constantly overlooked. And that was my story. Like I was stand-up comedian, screenwriter. Like I got into AI because of the writer's strike. But like, you know, I love talking to people and pouring into people and just knowing that, you know, don't give up on your dreams. You know what I'm saying? Because like eventually like they'll come to fruition. You just have to like believe it and just like keep striving. So I always try to like pour into people, and I work really hard just because I want people to see what's possible if they just like believe, pray, you know what I'm saying, have faith in God and have faith in themselves.
Brilliant. Wow. Thank you guys so much. Can we get a little noise? Thank you. Thank you to all of you for being here. And thank you to Keith Lee, Alandria,
Thank
and
you.
King Willonius. Thank you all so much.